Last week was ACC football kickoff in Charlotte. Players, coaches, media, dignitaries, everybody in attendance. In a couple of days, we will get the ACC preseason football team as well as preseason newcomers, and all those votes will come out. But a lot of coaches, a lot of players are trying to make waves. 45 days away, Duke kicks off its season against Tulane, and Duke's Manny Diaz was there and sat down to talk with Tim Donnelly and the Drive and talked about a number of things, including defending the ACC championship, figuring out his quarterback room, among others. Here's Manny and Tim.
The head man on the football staff for Duke, Manny Diaz, is sitting down with us right now here at ACC Kickoff in Charlotte. Coach, we appreciate your time. We just got done talking to a few of your players. And as I like to do, I asked them for a question that only someone inside the locker room would have for you. So Nate Shepard wanted you to finish this sentence. Time is?
Time is time.
Time is time. He said he had messed that up in front of some people sometimes, so he wanted to test you on that one.
That's a throwback to my start in TV.
Time is time?
That time is time.
Okay,
right?
well, explain it to us. Give us the details.
So before I was in coaching, I worked at ESPN, right? Mm-hmm. And so when SportsCenter came on at 11, it doesn't start at 10:56. It starts at 11. Mm-hmm. And if your highlight had to go to air at 11:02:30, it didn't go to air at 11:01:30. And so you may still be in the edit bay at 11:01:30, putting the last shot on and then sprinting down the hall. So you got the sense of time is time, and that just organized your brain. And I know it's funny in coaching, you always hear, on time is late or early, and 10 minutes early and all that. And it's never made sense to me, right? Like, if that's why we have clocks, right?
Yeah.
If I want to start something at 4 o'clock, it seems like it should start at 4 o'clock. It's disrespectful. I'll say this and I'll get off of it. If we started something at 4 o'clock and you show up at 4:05, I would argue that you're disrespecting our time, right? Mm-hmm. But if I say I need you at 4 o'clock and I start something at 5 till, I feel like I'm disrespecting your time. So at Duke, time is time.
I like that, and it's bucking the trend because every youth and high school football coach I've ever had was always if you're early, if you're on time, you're late.
Just tell me what time. No, when we're there at 4, we're prepared and whatever, but we're not just walking in. But yeah, it's too confusing the other way.
Head coach of the defending ACC champion Duke football team, Manny Diaz, joining us here at ACC Kickoff. Coach, are you tired of replacing your quarterback every year?
Look, if we were replacing him because he wasn't any good, that would be a problem, right? We have a very quarterback-friendly offense. We expect whoever performs in our offense, if they do what we coach them to do, is going to put up huge numbers. Ideally, what I want our quarterbacks to have to leave early to go to the National Football League. So I think this is a problem that comes with success. It's a part of our game right now, and we have the ability to move on and to get a guy like Walker Eggett and to have Dan Mahan on our roster, because they believe it. They see it. They're like, oh, yeah, okay, if I do this, whether that's when we were at Miami in this offense, whether SMU with Red, who runs the same offense, it's a quarterback-friendly offense. Quarterbacks are going to put up numbers. We have broken records back-to-back years at Duke with two different styles of quarterback, and we expect to do the same this year. Do you, after the way this offseason played out, does Duke still look for or agree to multi-year deals with players? Of course, yeah, absolutely, okay. Yeah. No, you have to. When it's right, every player is in a unique situation. But you have to understand too is that we're all learning in real time. Everybody is, right? You got to solve 2026 problems with 2026 answers, because what it was in 25 or 24, things have changed, and so you have to adapt. Talking of adapting, Manny Diaz, Duke head football coach. Cooper Barkay last year came from Harvard. This year you get Jared Richardson from Penn. Do you have to shop in the Ivy League for your players? Well, it helps, right? Because, again, I think it makes us unique at Duke, right? We have, who we attract. We have guys that value a graduate degree, so they play their time in the Ivies. We've had really good success on the defensive line the last couple of years with bringing guys in from the Ivies, linebackers. So, yeah, but I think to have that type of production, the guy that was the leading receiver, I don't think anybody was walking around Charlotte, last July talking about Cooper Barkay. And we really enjoyed him. We really liked him. And I think Jared has a chance to do the same thing. Some people were talking about like Cooper Barkady and Cooper because they really didn't know, right? He was coming from Harvard. What makes Nate Shepard so special? Because we also weren't talking a ton about him at this time last year. Nate hadn't played it down. But pretty darn quickly, that Syracuse game, there was really you had to talk about him. What makes him so special? We saw it. Nate was an early enrollee. We did see it a little bit in the springtime. You just don't know. With a freshman back, you've always heard coaches say it's not just playing with the ball in your hand, but playing with the ball out of your hands, pass protection, that type of thing. Nate's very mature. He's very smart. Picked up things very quickly. But more than anything, he's very urgent. Young guys usually don't have the urgency. They're just more happy to be there. But Nate can make explosive plays. And, right, the game is won and lost on explosive plays. So whether, the long runs at Syracuse or the toughness he has, it added an element. And to be honest, when we were at our best winning the last 4 games of the season, it was Nate first. We ran the football. We protected our defense. And everything we did in the passing game came off of that.
Is that the blueprint for this year? Obviously, replacing a lot of key pieces in the passing game.
Right.
Is this, run first, run second?
Well, I think that might be oversimplifying it, but look, you always want to run the football. Now, people will understand, and early on, we will have to prove. Look, by the time at Game 4, they understood. They knew we could throw the ball. We knew we had a quarterback and a lot of weapons. It only stands to reason the defenses will try to test us. To try to put a lot of guys. They know who Nate is also, and put a lot of guys around him, and see if we can beat him over the top. And that's why any great offense, what balance isn't 50-50 play calling. Balance is the ability to put the ball where the defense isn't. Defenses can't cover 53 yards of width plus the depth of the field, but you got to have the ability to attack all those places.
We're talking with Manny Diaz, Duke head football coach. Do you feel a little gypped that this year the ACC champion has the auto bid to the CFP, and last year you won the ACC championship before that rule existed?
Well, I feel like the ACC champion, if this league is what we say it is, and in my opinion it is, we shouldn't be talking about tiebreakers. We should talk about the fact that it should have been Miami and Duke in the playoff last year. It bothers me that Miami was behind Notre Dame because they had 2 bad losses, quote unquote, to SMU and to Louisville. Those are not bad. How can you look at SMU the last 2 years and saying going to Dallas and losing in overtime is a bad loss? That's disrespecting our conference. Now, if people outside the league say that, that's fine. Louisville goes to Miami, beats Miami. Who else did Louisville play? James Madison. James Madison went 0-1 against Power 4 teams. But that was a good loss for them. They competed well. So how can a good loss for JMU be a bad loss for Miami when they're playing the same team? And for the Sun Belt champion to get over the ACC champion is a travesty. Now, I know we own what we screwed up at a conference, but if we had to play their schedule and they'd have played our schedule, I'd like to see how that played out. We won 7 games in this league, right? There's only one team that won 7. That's Virginia. We came here and we beat Virginia. And then we went and beat Arizona State in the bowl game. That to me is the biggest disappointment, and that should never happen again. This league has got to get 2 teams in the college football playoff.
You did start in media because those are all of the conversations we had about good wins and bad losses and everything else.
And that's the part that's what I can't stand, because no matter what anybody says, that is swayed by preseason hype. Right? You've already seen strength of schedule, and that's what you can't lose.
Rankings shouldn't even be released until after 5 games, right? Like, you should have to earn your ranking. We could go on and on about that all day, but I do want to talk about something else that the media talks about quite a bit, which is the transfer portal. In your system, there's thousands of names. There's now a Division II quarterback that's going to be starting at Boston College. How do you quite frankly tackle that? Like, what is your structure for sorting through and evaluating all of those players?
Well, number one, we're unique at Duke. I always joke, if the transfer portal is a Walmart, there's only like 1 or 2 aisles we're allowed to shop in, or sections, because of our academic requirements.
Chops it down for you.
But what helps us is, because of our academic prowess, the people that are in those sections, they do like coming to Duke, right? So it's been a good fit. I think our hit rate in the portal over the last 2 years has been really, really good. But that's it. You got to make quick evaluations, and you got to have guys that fit us. We can see how they can plug into our offense. So whether it's bringing in the wideouts we brought in this year, and how they can do these exact roles, you have to know who you are to know what you want to attract.
We have to wrap it up here, but I have to ask you, because I always do. Luke Murgott's my high school guy. His mom was my math teacher.
That's right, yep.
What does he have as an encore, right? Had cut some of the most clutch plays of the year for you.
Yeah, I think it's funny and Luke and I have talked about this, when you make plays like that, there can become a tendency now with expectation, right? This time last year, no one had any expectation for Luke. And in this defense, if you just do your job, right, those plays came. Luke made those plays because he did an outstanding job of doing his job, and then he can catch a ball, like, fundamentally, right? And so I think it's funny. It's easier said than done, right? Because now when you do have that encore, all of a sudden, the first game, I haven't made an interception. Am I doing something wrong? And you can start to press. That a little bit got us last year on defense with some of our top guys. I always say you're trying to hit a grand slam with nobody on base. look, just make solid contact, trust the bat, trust where the ball goes, and that really is how you got here in the first place.
He was a pretty darn good receiver in high school, so he can definitely catch the
He
ball.
can catch, yep.
Manny, we appreciate the time, and good luck this season.
Yeah, always good to see you guys. Thanks.
Manny Diaz, head coach of the Duke Blue Devils, the ACC football champions, and we'll start that defense coming up 45 days from now. Duke taking on Tulane to open up the 2026 campaign. More of that content available to you, 999thefan.com, and also on our YouTube page, 999thefan. Just search it out there, and don't forget to like and subscribe and get all the latest dispatches for your local teams.
I'm Max Goren with 3 things you need to know right now from 99.9 The Fan. The 2026 World Cup came to a close yesterday, and Spain capped off their dominant run with a 1-0 victory over Argentina in extra time to win its second World Cup. The Spaniards conceded just 1 goal over 8 matches in the tournament and did not allow Argentina to register a single shot on target. Golf's final major was also decided yesterday. With a birdie on the 72nd hole of the tournament, New Zealand's Ryan Fox emerged victorious at Royal Birkdale to win the 2026 Open Championship and lift the claret jug. His winning score of 10 under par edged out Wake Forest alum Cameron Young by 1 shot. The Durham Bulls remained hot this weekend, taking 2 out of 3 against the Charlotte Knights at the DBAP to improve to 15-4 and remain in first place in the International League East second half. They'll hit the road for a 6-game series against the Memphis Redbirds starting tomorrow. For all the latest news on your favorite teams, download the 99.9 The Fan app or visit 999thefan.com.
I suppose in the NFL, some of it has to do with luck, some of it has to do with chance, some of it has to do with absolute skill when it comes to kicking field goals. And kickers always take the brunt, right? Nobody missed the block, the kicker missed the kick. Nobody missed the assignment up front. The kicker missed the kick. Well, there's a thought out there that the NFL could steal a few more ideas, perhaps from the old XFL, or now what is known as the UFL. This year in the UFL, they added a rule. Now, it was a rule that did not go unused. The UFL implemented a 4-point field goal, which meant if you kicked a 60-yard plus field goal or more, instead of 3 points, you were given 4. And in the UFL's 2026 campaign, which is now complete, I could not tell you who won the UFL trophy, championship, title, whatever it is. The kickers in the UFL went 8 for 14, including 4 for 4. So 8 field goals in the UFL counted for 4 points. In the NFL last season, NFL kickers tried 22 field goals of 60-plus and made 12. Now, you'll know a name that comes up quite a bit because he comes up probably as one of your last picks or a waiver wire addition, Dallas Cowboys kicker Brandon Aubrey, who has made an NFL record 6 field goals of 60 or more in his first 3 seasons. He thinks it's weird. He thinks it incentivizes teams to take knees if they know their kicker can hit from 60 and you're at a strange field position knowing perhaps you're just not moving the ball you want to. Maybe it's 3rd and 3 and or 3rd and 13 and the best you can do is get maybe a 49-yard, 55-yard attempt. But if I keep it, this is where that strategy comes into play, which could make it weird in the NFL. And he's even saying, man, play callers would have a heck of a time. Do we line up our kicker at the 45-yard line, and we just stop? And we stop at the 45. We just cross the 50. We stop at the 45, and we line up no matter what for a 62 or a 63-yard kick. We do not even try to go any further because we got injured or the play calling just isn't correct. And we're going to run a dude out there. That could fundamentally change the way teams play when it comes for points, and that would also change end-of-game scenarios as well. I can't say that I absolutely hate the idea, knowing that even if I'm down 4 at the end of a game, say it's 24-20, and I get the ball back, all I have to do is kind of get it to midfield, knowing that I got a strong-legged kicker. I'm not always playing in Denver, but I got a guy like, I don't know, Liam Cohen, who is the head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I got Cam Little kicking for me, who hit a 67 and a 68-yard field goal in the regular season. Like, this puts teams back in games. If we're looking to change things in the NFL, we've already kind of messed up the whole, kickoffs and fair catches and landing zones and whatnot. This feels like the next evolution. And it's crazy when you think about it because it was almost thought of as a gimmick in the XFL. You know what? We'll just go NBA Jam with this fully. Let's go. You know what? Here's a hot spot, and we'll let you kick for 6. It's like, do you remember MTV back in the day? MTV, not about the videos, but they used to have this series called Rock and Jock. And they had Rock and Jock games where it was like rock stars and then athletes, and they would come together and play sports. And one of the bigger events that they would have would be a basketball game. And they would have like hot spots on the floor where you could shoot for like 10 points. And you'd have like Marky Mark, right? Marky Mark would be out there shooting 10, or a Slash from Guns N' Roses, who's going to be here in town, I guess, here in a couple of days, would shoot, 3-pointers, and, the occasional athlete who was an actor could get up and dunk. But they would shoot for like these wild points. This feels like that kind of a thing to where at least you still have some strategy, but you haven't turned the NFL into an absolute gong show. And I think that's the reluctance for a lot of like leagues to figure things out. The NHL tweaking its all-star, games, the NBA, thinking about Elam endings, which is what makes that $1 million tournament so special. It's why we have the TST now in Cary. We're playing 7-on-7 soccer with pace, with fitness and brilliance, to where you have, some of those specialty kinds of things that fall in line with major sports. But the NFL hasn't quite gone that way. They've absolutely decimated the Pro Bowl.
Yeah.
Like, just get rid of that.
Did anyone really care about that in the first place?
No, not really. The athletes like a trip to Hawaii.
I think with the field goal kicks, I think if you break the record, it should be worth a touchdown. But anything else is just 3 points.
Just 3, no matter what.
But if you set a new record, throw 6 points on the board.
Keep stepping back.
It's worth double.
So right now, the record would be 69. So if you're going to hit a 69-yard field goal in the NFL, I think you could tie it, though. I think a tie would be just as worthy. Because at some point, you're going to run out of room. You're just going to run out of room.